So hello guys, today in this video we can see what is Docker and how we can use Docker as a DevOps engineer, what is the command, and today I will show my blogs and what I have written in Docker. So let's uh, know about Docker. First of all, knowing about Docker, we have to know about containerization. Container. What is container? Container means you have ever noticed in a pod there are different containers. The container they will shift the container from one country to another country to shift the goods or materials, whatever things they want to shift to out of the India or out of the country. So in that way, in container we are hosting our application or our services. So in what's in container when you are storing a thing, when you are storing an application, or let's say it is having a isolated walls. Container are storing, a container is a big iron box. They are storing all this goods and all this uh, things, material in a kind isolated environment. If any disaster happen, the container remains same, and the goods will be remain safe forever. Like that only, in our Docker, in our computer science, or having that containerization. So anything we are hosting our application, we are deploying our services, or we are deploying our apps, or we are deploying our project over containerization using Docker. Okay, so let's first of all, if you ever know about virtual machine, let me I will give a brief introduction about virtual machine. Also, what is virtual machine? So virtual machine is another machine that is hosted on your same OS. You are installing a emulator like VMbox, that is called emulator, which we can run virtual machine several. So in that virtual machine, we are running our another OS. If you are having a laptop, in laptop there you have a, let's say you have a Windows. So you want to learn to use how to Linux. If you want to learn Linux, what you are doing? You are installing a virtual box or VMware. Yeah. So in that virtual box and VMware, we are installing another OS. You have you have a Windows and you are installing the Linux to use. So what is the difference between two things are containerization and virtualization? The difference between two things are you are having a already having a OS and you are installing OS again. It's called virtualization. But in containerization, you have a OS, you are installing a container, it is an isolated environment, which for that if you have that OS only, you have Windows OS only, they share their OS. They share the kernel between containers. That is the thing between two things. So what are the difference? I will, let's say I will show my blog over here. Search S node. In hash node I am writing my blogs very slow. I will see you what image they are having. If I have written all the things about all the things. So this is the image. I have to say you this is the image. What is virtualization? What is virtualized? This is virtualized. Your network layer is there, physical layer is there, or hosting option. Basically, your OS. And this is hypervisory. Hypervisory is used to create multiple machines on host, operating system, and manage VMs. Means hypervisory is used to manage the VMs. Whatever your virtual machine you are having and making, that is used to manage your VMs. So this is your default operating system like Windows system and other system. So again you are installing virtual machine over here. This is your main operating system, then it is your guest operating system. Means example, let's say I can give you example, and this is your Windows system for learning, or if you are using for the purpose, for project purpose, you are using installing Linux over here. That is the virtualization. Okay. And containerization, what is your hosting server and your or physical server, it is your own OS only, and this is your container engine. Okay. Container engine, this is your container. Means a container is any OS, any services, nginx, python, any other services. Okay. So let's say what is container. Container is encapsulated on application with its own operating environment. Means it isolated, encapsulated between it, encapsulation between a operating environment only, on operating environment. It is used to host any machine without special configuration, removing the issue of the dependency. Means without removing the dependency only, without removing any OS, any other services only, we can install that container over our operating host operating system. Let's say this. You understand? Okay, this is the thing what I have to tell you. So let's go to Docker. So for Docker, you can go for this. So what is a Docker? A Docker is a container platform that allow to build. It is a container platform allow to build, test, deploy application quickly. Okay. A developer defined application dependency. Uh, dependency are defined in a all this Docker file. Let's say I will give you a example. So if you want to install any, if you want to deploy a Flask or Django application or any Python application, if you want to deploy. So first of all, what is your requirement is to fulfill all these frameworks. So if you, let's say if you are using Flask, so if you want to requirement that pip install Flask version, this pip install speech recognition, pip install Django, pip install pandas, pip install numpy, all this is required for a project, all this package. So for that only we are using Docker file to automate things. To if you make a Docker file, I will tell you more about that. Don't worry. Docker file, what is this and what is that? Okay. So doing this ensure that application run in environment. Okay. Why use Docker? Why we are using Docker? It is a very good example over here. Using Docker can help a sweep of your code first, giving your control over your application. You can deploy application container that make easier for them to deploy, scale, perform, rollback, identify issues. Okay. And if you are using a on-premise or laptop on your hosting application, if you have done any wrong, so your laptop may crash. If you are making a project, let's say if you are making a project, if you are making a project, you have done a wrong thing, your laptop got crash. So who is the responsible? If you have to go to the your repair shop and repair your laptop, for that reason only we have Docker to host, deploy, run, and code your application over the container. It is isolated environment. If you always get crash, nothing have to do. Nothing has to do. You are running your if you crash, you make one more container and you do your own first again. You can use Docker for microservices and data processing, continuous integration, continuous delivery, container are services. Okay, so what is microservices? So there are two types of services, monolithic services and microservices. Okay. In monolithic services, what we have done that in monolithic services, let's say you have an app. I will give you a simple example. You have an app. Let's say Amazon. Amazon have different modules. Let's say Amazon have a search module, one ad cart module, one category module, one for mobile purpose. All these modules have it. So that all modules are integrated in same server only. So that is monolithic architecture. We are saying monolithic architecture. What is microservice architecture? In microservice architecture, we having different servers. Different servers means if you want to deploy a application or your app, you have your you add a get payment gateway page on one server, or if you have a service web page in one server, home page, or your add to cart in one page, or all this checkout page in one page, one server. There are different servers are connected to each other between different hosting application. Let's say your application, your add to cart get crashed, so the other server are good enough. So the other servers are good enough, they are working. Like that only microservice architecture is work. You will read all these things. I have told these things also. So let's say the Docker architecture. Okay. So this is one a Docker daemon that is who's manage the all container, all image, all these things are managed by Docker daemon. Daemon is not a cost or something. Docker daemon. Yeah, one REST API and one client Docker CLI. These all things are there. So this is a brief introduction about Docker daemon. You can that's which I can say that a Docker client and manage the Docker object and Docker image container production volumes Docker daemon. I have told you that things only. So let's say Docker file. So Docker file is this, and we are writing all the information about Docker file. So from Ubuntu, maintainer by CD Pradam Apapro, and run apt-get update. You know that apt-get update means it will update your OS or update a new file or new packages. Let's say Docker image. What is Docker image? A Docker image is a file that defines Docker container. Which defined Docker container is called Docker image. It is similar concept of snapshot of VMs only. A container that moves from Docker environment to other with the same OS will work change. We call that image including all the dependencies in this code. So basically for this we have Docker Hub. In Docker Hub we have all the images, like if you want, so it is asking for sign in. So I have already have account. You can make your account over here. So it is signed in already. Okay. So let's explore images over here. This is the image for Ubuntu. This is image for Python. This is Redis and Postgres, Node, HTTPD, MongoDB. All these are images. So that image is converted into container which have deployed. So we can edit this image, like we have written a Docker file from Ubuntu run this code, copy this code, after that run this code, so that we are creating our own images in Docker file. So after creating our own images in Docker file, we are deploying that. All the stuff is there, can read it. So I have written two blocks, all these things having. So this is my second block on Docker. You can see all these things I have written over here. After Docker file, Docker image converted into Docker container. If you have a Docker file, we can build into Docker image, and that Docker image convert into Docker container. This is thing that I have want to tell from the last 2 to 3 minutes. So what is Docker Hub? We have explained all the things over here. You can read it, and most common tags we are using in Docker file. So this is the example Docker file. So node appline we have installed UFW application is like it's called node appline, and this is the following commands. We can read out what are the commands is having in Docker, and we have written a guidelines. I have written a guidelines over here. So if you like my video, if you enjoy this video, if you gain some informative about information about Docker, so like, subscribe and share to your friends for more information. If you like and subscribe, I get really motivation, and I will um, talk about more information about all these tech things and all Kubernetes, all these things. I will be doing a video on that. So thank you. I will be in next one.